Daf Yomi, Tractate Bava, page 62b at the top of the page, with the Mishnah. Gates Shiatza Mitachas Apatish Vehizik Chayiv. The Mishnah says, in the case of a spark that emerged from under the hammer of a blacksmith and started a fire, causing damage, the blacksmith is liable for the damage caused. In the case of a camel that was laden with flax and was passing through the public domain, and its flax extended into a store, and the flax caught fire from a lamp in the store belonging to the storekeeper, and as a result of the burning flax, the camel set fire to the building together with all its contents, the owner of the camel is liable. But if the storekeeper placed his lamp outside, thereby causing the flax on the camel to catch fire, and consequently the building was set on fire, the storekeeper is liable. Rabbi Yehuda says, in a case where the lamp placed outside was a Hanukkah lamp, the storekeeper is exempt, since it is a mitzvah for a Hanukkah lamp to be placed outside. Gemara. Ravina said, in the name of Rava, conclude from Rabbi Yehuda's statement that the mitzvah is to place the Hanukkah lamp within a height of 10 handbreadths. This is amazing. Just gotta mention the connection. Someone gave me today a Hanukkah shalach manos, and I've never seen such a thing, but it's creative, you know. It was like shalach manos, like a Purim shalach manos, but it's a Hanukkah. It had like some chocolate coins in there, had a dreidel, had some fig bars, apple flavored fig bars, and it was a Hanukkah shalach manos. Maybe because we're almost halfway between Hanukkah and Purim, not exactly, but in a regular non-leap year, we would be maybe close to it. Let's put it that way. So it's like a Hanukkah shalach manos, and what do I see here? I'm talking about Hanukkah in the Gemara. It's a kiss from Hashem. The mitzvah is to place Hanukkah lamp within a height of 10 handbreadths from the ground, as if it enters your mind to say that the mitzvah can also be fulfilled by placing it above 10 handbreadths. Why did Rabbi Yehuda say that in the case of a Hanukkah lamp placed outside, the storekeeper is exempt? Let the owner of the camel say to the storekeeper, you should have placed the lamp above the height of a camel and its rider so that the flax would not catch fire. Rather, one must not conclude from here that Rabbi Yehuda's opinion is that the mitzvah is to place it within 10 handbreadths, or of the ground, not higher. The sages say in response, no, there is no proof from here. Actually, I can say to you that one may place a Hanukkah lamp even above a height of 10 handbreadths. And as for what you said, that the owner of the camel can claim, you should have placed the lamp above the height of a camel and its rider. In response to this, one can say, since the owner is performing a mitzvah by placing his Hanukkah lamp outside, the sages did not trouble him to such an extent to have him place his lamp at a height that would be inconvenient for him to reach. Further on the subject of the height of a Hanukkah lamp, Rav Kahana says that Rav Natan bar Minyumi taught, in the name of Rabbi Tanchum, a Hanukkah lamp that is placed higher than 20 cubits from the ground is unfit to be used for the mitzvah, since people do not generally look up to such a height. And the main purpose of the Hanukkah lamp is for it to be seen by others. In this regard, the halacha of the height of a Hanukkah lamp is like the halacha of the height of a sukkah, and the halacha of the height of a crossbeam at the entrance to an alleyway, which are unfit for their respective purposes if they are higher than 20 cubits. Hadran Allah HaKones. We shall return to you HaKones, and we have concluded the 6th parak of Bava Kama. On to the 7th, which is called Meruba. New Mishnah, Meruba, Midas, Tashlume, Kefel, and Midas, Tashlume, Arba, V'chamisha. The Mishnah, the principle of double payment applies more broadly than the principle of fourfold or fivefold payment. As the principle of double payment applies both to the theft of something that is alive and to the theft of something that is not alive. But the principle of fourfold or fivefold payment applies only to the theft of an ox or a sheep. As it is stated, if a man steal an ox or a sheep and slaughter it or sell it, he shall pay 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. Exodus 21:37. Having stated a limitation to the halacha of fourfold or fivefold payment, the Mishnah mentions a further limitation, which applies to all 3 types of payments. One who steals an item after a thief has already stolen it, as one who steals a stolen item does not pay the double payment to the thief or the prior owner, nor does the one who slaughters or sells an ox or sheep after a thief has already stolen it pay fourfold or fivefold payment. Rather, he pays only the principal, that is, the value of the item he stole. Gemara, the Mishnah teaches one particular difference between double payment and fourfold or fivefold payment, while it does not teach this difference between them. The principle of double payment applies both in the case of a thief and in the case of a bailee who falsely states the claim that a thief stole the deposit entrusted to him and who takes an oath to that effect. The principle of fourfold or fivefold payment applies only in the case of a thief, not in the case of one who falsely claims that a deposit was stolen. The fact that the Mishnah does not teach the latter distinction supports the opinion of Rabbi Chia bar Abba, as Rabbi Chia bar Abba says that Rabbi Yochanan says, in the case of one who falsely states the claim that a thief stole a deposit from him, and it is discovered that he himself is the thief, he pays double payment. And if the stolen item is an ox or sheep, and he slaughtered or sold it, he pays the fourfold or fivefold payment. According to Rabbi Chia bar Abba, there is no difference between the applications of double payment or fourfold or fivefold payment in this case. There are those who say a different version of this discussion. Let us say that the Mishnah supports the opinion of Rabbi Chia bar Abba, as Rabbi Chia bar Abba says that Rabbi Yochanan says, in the case of one who falsely states the claim that a thief stole a deposit from him, and it is discovered that he himself is the thief, he pays double payment. And if the stolen item is an ox or sheep, and he slaughtered or sold it, he pays the fourfold or fivefold payment. The Gemara rejects the inference. Does the Mishnah teach that there is no difference between the double payment and fourfold or fivefold payment except for the one mentioned in the Mishnah? It teaches merely that the principle of double payment applies more broadly than the principle of fourfold or fivefold payment, and it provides an example of the statement. This does not mean that this is the only difference, and it is possible that the Tana taught this one case and omitted others. The Mishnah teaches that the principle of double payment applies to both the theft of something that is alive and to the theft of something that is not alive. The Gemara asks, from where are these matters derived? It is as the sages taught in Braita with regard to the verse that discusses the double payment for any matter of trespass, whether it be ox, or sheep, or donkey, a donkey or a sheep, for a garment, or for any for any matter of lost thing about which one shall say, this is it. The claims of both of them shall come before the judges, and the one whom judges shall convict pay double to his neighbor. Exodus 22:8. For any matter of trespass, generalization is a generalization. Whether it be for an ox, for a donkey, for a sheep, for a garment is a detail. And when the verse states, or for any manner of lost thing, and it generalizes again. Consequently, this verse contains a generalization, a detail, and a generalization, which is a product claw. And one of the 13 rules of exegesis states that in such a case you may deduce that the verse is referring only to items similar to the detail. Therefore, Yatadan elakain prat. Yeah. So therefore, just as each of the items mentioned in the detail is clearly defined as an item that is movable property and has intrinsic monetary value, so too, double payment is practiced with regard to any item that is movable property and has intrinsic value, monetary value. Yatsu karkaos, she'enim mentaltlin, yatsu avadim shukshu lekarkaos, yatsu shtaros, shachal b'yishim mentaltlin, in a guhumoinam, yatsu hektish, re'eyuksi. Land is excluded as if it is not movable property. Canaanite slaves are excluded as they are compared. Again, I don't know what Canaanite slaves were those days or what they are today, but Akol Panim, I'm reading the Talmud, that's it. Canaanite slaves are excluded as they are exempted to land. In many areas of halacha, financial documents are excluded, and although they are land excluded, Canaanite slaves are excluded as they are compared to land. In many areas of halacha, financial documents are excluded as although they are movable property, they do not have intrinsic value. The value of the material on which the document is written is negligible. The documents are valuable only because they serve as proof for the monetary claims. Finally, consecrated property is excluded because it is written that in the verse that the one found liable shall pay double to his neighbor, that is, not to another person, rather than to the temple's treasury. We're going on time. We can do it. The Gemara asks if the halacha of double payment is limited to a case similar to details mentioned in the verse. It should also be derived that just as such a case of items mentioned in detail clearly defined as an item whose carcass transmit impurity through contact and carrying, so too any item whose carcass transmits impurity through contact and carrying, it is subject to double payment. But birds whose carcasses are not subject to impurity through contact and carrying should not be subject to double payment. The Gemara objects to the question, but how can you say this? But isn't garment written in the list of specified items, Exodus 20, verse 8? It is impossible to speak of the impurity of carcasses with regard to clothing. The Gemara responds, say in response to this objection, we are speaking specifically of animals, and this is the question that was asked. Why not say that with regard to animals, an animal whose carcass transmit impurity through contact and carrying, yes, it is subject to double payment, whereas the animal whose carcass does not transmit impurity through contact and carrying, such as a bird, no, a thief would not pay double payment for stealing it. Bit just on time.